Warning confession. Jungkook and Taehyung reveal their authentic relationship. Is Taekook actually real? The long-standing rumors have finally found clarity. Jungkook and Taehyung are no longer hiding the depth of their relationship. In a newly released documentary clip, the two BTS members, known as Taekook, without uttering the word love, reveal something far stronger and undeniable, a bond that has long grown, not on stage, but behind the scenes, in silence, in togetherness that never sought validation. The question now is no longer whether Taekook is real, but rather, what is the true meaning of their connection? As the camera captures a moment of them sitting side by side in silence, Taehyung's eyes gaze at Jungkook as if wanting to say something the world isn't fully ready to hear. Yet Jungkook, with a smile as thin as morning mist, simply says, "I wouldn't be who I am now without him." A simple sentence, yet it holds many layers of emotion and history. This is no longer fan service. This is an unspoken confession. Intimacy wrapped in silence. And therein lies its strength. The public has long noticed their closeness, from body language, lingering glances, to their habit of seeking each other in crowds. However, their recent confession is not just validation for fans who have speculated for years, but also a gentle reminder that not all relationships need labels to be considered real. "He's the person who's always there even when I don't understand what I'm feeling," said Taehyung in an off-record interview session that leaked to the public. "Sometimes, I don't even have to speak. He already knows." This statement was met with a nod from Jungkook, not because he wanted to agree, but because he already knew long before those words were spoken. They are not a couple seeking recognition. They are just two humans who keep returning to each other in a world that demands perfection and appearance, yet often forgets the most basic human need, to be understood. Music mundial, their relationship grows in silence. Never explicitly stated, but always present in subtle song lyrics, in brief interactions more honest than long speeches. In live broadcasts, when there's no script directing them, Taehyung often looks at Jungkook as if ensuring he's still there, still whole. Jungkook responds with small gestures, perhaps just shifting his seat closer, or giving a slight smile amidst others' laughter. But for those who observe, it's a form of communication that only two hearts who've gone through hundreds of silent nights and hard work together can understand. Moments like these make many armies believe that Taekook is not an illusion, but a portrait of something much deeper than mere friendship. At a concert in Osaka, for instance, when Taehyung appeared exhausted mid-song, Jungkook, without many words, embraced him briefly, just enough to convey, "I'm here. No applause, no cheers." But there was a silence that held more meaning than a stadium full. Resto NYC Plus One News 18+1. Their confession isn't explicit, but every action they take is a confession in itself. In the latest documentary interview, when asked who understands him best in the group, Jungkook doesn't mention a name, but looks straight at the camera and says, "He knows everything about me, even things I don't know myself." The camera then shifts to Taehyung, who smiles and bows slightly as if saying, "I know that's not a compliment, it's trust." They may never use the word love. However, as poets often say, true love isn't the most loudly expressed, but the most quietly present. And in every interaction they have, in every unexplained glance, in the silence between sentences, in songs that feel too personal to be directed at anyone but each other, we know this isn't a coincidence. This is a bond that grows not because of scripts or marketing strategies, but because of a deep need to be oneself in front of someone who will never leave. We often rush to demand answers. Are they a couple? Is this romantic? Is this publicly valid? But Taekook turns all those questions around. They show that relationships don't have to be framed in old definitions to be considered real. That someone can be home, even without legal ties or social recognition. And that love, in its purest form, is a presence that never ends. Jimin, in a separate interview, once said, "Taehyung and Jungkook are like gravity to each other. Even if they try to distance themselves, they'll still return to the same point." This isn't a friend's boast. This is a testimony born from years of togetherness. And the public knows Jimin isn't the type to speak without reason. To this day, they have never clearly stated their relationship status. But it's precisely in that ambiguity that we see honesty. The world may want a clear confession, but they choose another language: actions, presence, and mutual understanding that's too deep to be confined in words. When asked by a Japanese journalist if he ever felt lost, Jungkook replied, "Often. But I'm never afraid because I know I have someone who will pull me back." No need to mention a name. We all know who that person is. We all know who silently becomes the anchor of his life. If Taekook is an illusion, then it's an illusion too real to ignore. If they're just friends, then their friendship is the kind that surpasses many love stories. If they're more, then the world has seen love in its most honest form, without claims, without show, without demands. Their confession, if it can be called that, isn't for the public. But in every second of their presence together, we see something that can't be fabricated. And ultimately, the most surprising confession of all this is, they're not trying to convince anyone. They're just living in their own truth. And perhaps that's where its beauty lies. However, amidst the uproar of a confession that seems to answer the longings of fans, a much more important question arises. Is all this real? Or is it just a collective illusion formed by media narratives and fan biases? The moments of closeness between Jungkook and Taehyung are indeed real. We can see them in various video clips, concert snippets, and live broadcasts. But let's pause for a moment and ask honestly, are we watching reality or interpreting what we want to see? Is their relationship as close as we hope, or are we creating that narrative because we so desperately want it to be real? We must realize together that many of the evidence circulating about Taekook comes from content snippets on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or even netizen comments that may not fully understand the actual context. Are we consuming the truth? Or are we consuming pieces of interpretation seasoned with hope, fantasy, and algorithms? Conversely, we want to invite you, the readers, observers, army, or just pop culture enthusiasts, to reflect. Do you believe that the closeness between Jungkook and Taehyung is a form of hidden true love? Or is this just a collective illusion from a fanbase so eager to believe in something that has never been stated? Do you believe that Taekook is a couple hiding their relationship for personal comfort? Or do you feel that this is just one of many popular narratives created to maintain popularity and emotional attachment of fans? We want to know, what makes you believe that Taekook is real? Have you ever questioned the possibility that all this is just a perception formed by algorithms and community bias? How do you distinguish between fact and fanfiction in the Korean entertainment world full of image crafting? Remember, not everything that seems full of meaning is truly intended that way. Not every touch is a language of love, and not every smile holds a secret. Sometimes, we see what we want to see. And in the K-pop world full of media control, the line between reality and illusion is very thin, and closing. Let's continue to support our idols with healthy love, not with burdensome expectations, or narratives they may never have created. Because in the end, whether Taekook is real or not, what's most important is how we can maintain a reasonable distance between reality and fantasy, between fact and assumption.